everybody. Welcome to our program today. How you guys doing? Today promises to be another fantastic day on our wonderful program. You all know how we do it. Today is particularly very, very special, and you are going to see why I say it is very special in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and a special privilege and pleasure that I introduce to you our special guest today, Ambassador, His Excellency Ambassador Adeyinka Asekun. Your Excellency, you're welcome to the program today.
Dr. Chidi, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very much, sir. Um, I'm not going to waste a lot of time before I get into the meat of the matter today.
Yes.
Let me say this ahead of the program. This is a very difficult time to be an ambassador. I'm telling you, it is a very peculiar time to be an ambassador. But not just an ambassador, but the ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But I, knowing the kind of person you are, it is also a very good opportunity to shine because it is in tough times that the very the very essence of a person is being tested, and this is a very good time for you to shine. Sir, I want you to know that the only reason why I would actually want to bring you on my program, and a lot of our viewers know how we are very, very, we criticize the government of Nigeria a lot. But the reason why I am confident to bring you on my program is I've said this a lot of times. If all the ambassadors around the world were half as effective as you, sir, and I don't say this because you are here, we will not have any problem with Nigeria. You have found a way to manage your position and to manage the commission here so perfectly that we in Canada, we've never had it so good. So on behalf of a lot of us, we really want to thank you, sir, for your service to your country in this land. Thank you very much, sir.
Dr. I must thank you for your very, very kind comments. And thank you once again for this opportunity. And to all the viewers, I say good morning and God bless you. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you. Thank you for your kind comments.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me go ahead to say, like I've already, I don't want to sing like a broken record, but you have done so well. But a lot of people, the first thing they ask me is, Chidi, we saw a lot of videos out there. Videos, I already put out a video saying that some of those videos that they saw happened a lot of time, so many years ago, even before you took your position as the Nigerian High Commission in Canada. But then recently too, there was another video that came up there. A young man put up something saying that, oh, the embassy is not working, people are not getting their passports. So let us start from there. Right now, sir, what is the position of the Nigerian embassy in Canada as regards issuance of passports and visas? What are you people doing? Because the information is that you have not been operating for so many months now.
Thank you very much. The Nigerian High Commission is guided in its operation by a number of considerations. The directives that come to us from Abuja, and then also the guidelines concerning public health in the province of Ontario. Taking those two considerations into account, we're not able to operate to the public the way we were opening before. So we can't run full-fledged consular and immigration operations. So technically speaking, we are closed to the public, and that is on our website. However, we recognize that there are some people who have what I would describe as very pressing concerns, very serious, urgent needs, which must be attended to. So what we've done is that we've put a system in place whereby people have a series of email numbers on our website. If you have a need or a concern, send your concern to one of those email addresses, and I guarantee you will get a response. So a case in point, people who, for instance, have work permits or study permits that are about to expire and who need their Nigerian passport to be valid to have those renewed are given an appointment to come in, and we attend to them. But we've done it in such a way that we try not to take more than 10 in a day. We try and manage in terms of social distancing and crowd control. So we give you an appointment, which makes sure that in the course of the day we don't have more people coming to the chancery to crowd up the office. So we give you an appointment, and we will tell you that when you're coming, bring the email along, a copy of the email that says you have an appointment, and then we will attend to you. We've been issuing passports, but it's been done on a very discreet and disciplined way, so that we don't attract attention. So one source of frustration that some people show up at the office without an appointment and they sit on the doorstep and they ask us to say if they sit down there and they don't go, we'll be compelled to respond to them. That is really not the way to go. There must be discipline in how we do our things. There's no embassy in the world that will countenance that kind of behavior. You go to an embassy without an appointment and think that if you sit on the doorstep, they're going to respond to you. It's not done. So send an email to one of the addresses, state what your case is. If it is adequately compelling, we will attend you. We'll give you an interview and we'll honor it.
But
So people have been,
sir,
yes,
let me cut in there. Don't you
yes.
think that you actually aided this practice? I think maybe you spoilt us, because I know that before this COVID-19, a lot of us we just, after filling the forms, and we just show up at the embassy, and you've never driven anybody. So
People have to
I
realize
don't
that
know.
these are different times. My brother, there's COVID-19 out there. We have to be able to adjust accordingly.
I don't know if I should have
That's your
said it,
point.
but I know that in the past, any of us that we show up 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock before the office opens, and you have opened the office, and we see women, children, we stay inside there until your office opens. So I think what people should understand is that these are COVID-19
Yeah, the
period.
times have changed, and people should
Yes.
they should please understand. We like having the crowd around. When I go to the chancery and I see children and I
Yes.
see babies and I see people, I like to engage. I like to talk to students. I enjoy that a lot. That's why
Yes.
we have the TV set up. We have the tea and the coffee. So people can come. It's a home away from home.
I know. I
But these
know.
are difficult times, and we just need to adjust. That's what I want people to understand.
Honestly, I don't want, and I ask anybody to challenge me. If you think maybe this is just PR or I was paid, no, you don't know Chidi. I say it as it is. Nigerian embassy in Canada is the number one embassy in the world. I'm telling you, I have led a protest to the embassy. We came there with police and everything. It was a protest against the Nigerian government. Your embassy officials, they came out, they didn't drive us away. They collected the letter from us, and they were very civil. And the funny thing is that after the protest, I still came inside the embassy, and they renewed my passport. So,
You know, we mustn't. We're a family. That's the bottom line, and we mustn't lose sight of that. We're a
okay.
family.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to establish that to let people understand that we here in Canada, we really enjoy your services in spite of everything that is going on back home. Like I have said, you have been very professional, and you have done your job very well. Now, sir, COVID
Yes.
19 has resulted in a lot of people being stranded in Nigeria and in Canada. And then I want you to tell us the efforts that your commission has made to try to solve this situation. I know it must have been crazy for you. We at a time we heard in the news that there was arrangements to airlift people, and all of a sudden we don't know what happened. We heard it was air peace, and then so many. I would like you to really straighten out the issues here. What happened?
Thank you very much. You got it right when you said that these are challenging times to be an ambassador.
Yes.
It's a prayer that will challenge anybody's mettle and anybody's mental strength.
Yeah.
Um, when the government decided that it wanted to airlift citizens stranded all over the world, there was a clear directive from Abuja saying that we should make use of Nigerian airlines. And part of the rationale behind that is that these are special flights, they are humanitarian flights. We should make use of what we have and also give our own airlines an opportunity to be of service to the nation. So we engaged a number of airlines. Even before that directive had come, we had spoken to some foreign airlines, and naturally the pricing structure was on the high side. Okay, but when the directive came that we should use local airlines, we reached out to Airpeace. Airpeace gave us an offer which was phenomenally good. The first thing I have to point out is that the number of Nigerians stranded in Canada was not really large enough to actually sustain a one-way chartered flight, because the people that we have will be anywhere between 150 to 170 who want to go home. Okay. But so that wasn't very viable. If you had to go with that number, it would be a very expensive flight. So we were contacted by a number of Nigerian Canadians in Nigeria who wished to come back to Canada. And so the logic was that the flight that takes out the people from Canada to Nigeria will bring back people who want to come back to Canada. Thereby, the airline gets to have a viable flight in terms of the revenue. So Airpeace gave us a wonderful offer. It agreed to cover Calgary and Toronto, taking cognizance of the fact that Canada is a very large country with people in different parts of the country and different provinces. It agreed to go to Lagos and Abuja. It agreed to take $1,134 for economy, $1,700 for business,
No.
and $2,000 for first class. Naturally, it was fully subscribed. I mean, the coming back leg was the numbers were phenomenal at that time. Those going, were not as many, but at least there was adequate interest. Now, by the time we had concluded these arrangements, we now reached out to the Canadian government to get the necessary overflight and landing permits. We got a denial. When they denied us, we engaged at every level possible to try and make a case that this was a special case, humanitarian one-off situation, and that we really needed them to grant us permission. The permission was not granted. They said Airpeace had not gone through the steps that you need to go through in order to be able to fly into Canadian airspace. And so therefore, it was not granted. It was a big disappointment to us because we were targeting the 14th of May. There were a number of COPR holders whose validity was about to expire. So we needed to get them into the country by the 14th of May. So when that didn't take place and we engaged the Canadian government and no progress was made, we had to cancel the arrangement, which was very painful for those of us at the High Commission. We had worked with Airpeace very closely. We had negotiated, we had gotten them to make all kinds of concessions. It was just the best deal possible. We had to abort it. So in trying to now move forward, we looked at a number of possibilities. We considered the possibility of the flights that are taking home our people from the United States to come into Canada and pick up our people. It was not possible because every flight that has gone from the US has been fully booked. So the flights going from the US to Nigeria have waiting lists. So they could not accommodate our own people. So that was one problem. So we now had to look for an airline which would be acceptable to the Canadian government and which would also come in at a pricing structure that makes sense. So we got an offer from a Toronto-based consortium involving Globe Cargo Logistics using Worldwide Charter International. And their arrangement was to get Euro Atlantic, a Portugal-based airline, to do the operation for us. They agreed on a flat fee of $1,450. They were not going to do first class, business economy, just a flat rate. So the first thing we did was to reach out to Canada, to the government and Global Affairs, and get them to confirm that the airline is one that has met all the requirements. They confirmed that it was fine, and so we began the process of trying to get this flight going. So we initially fixed the 10th of July. But when we fixed the 10th of July, we got a number of emails from people who said that the government's requirement to do a COVID-19 test was not going to make it possible for them to buy their tickets because in Canada, being the large country it is, different provinces have different guidelines for doing COVID-19.
Sure.
Some get their test within a certain number of days, others have to wait later. So we were once again constrained to shift it to the 18th of July. And that arrangement is still on by the grace of God. So once again, it is Calgary, Toronto, and then Lagos, Abuja are the four cardinal points. It's been a bit more difficult this time around, I must confess. And the reason why is because between May and now, a good number of Nigerian Canadians have found their way back to Canada. Okay. So the numbers we're getting of people who want to come back has reduced considerably. So that's put a bit of pressure on the railway, but it's still on for the 18th of July. We're partnering with so the people in Nigeria who are handling this for us are Aero Logistics and Travel and Touchdown Travels. Those are two very reputable and solid travel agencies and entities that are operating in Nigeria. They're the ones who are handling the Nigerian end. So over at our end there, we have voyage travels. So the arrangements are on. So the flights, by the grace of God, will move people from Calgary to Toronto, and accept things. And based upon the arrangement we have now, the flight should leave Toronto at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, and head out to Lagos. The people will be moved from Lagos to Abuja. So that's the plan for now. And we're still hoping that people will buy some tickets because it makes it much more viable for all concerned when we have a larger number. I also believe that people have had a measure of skepticism. Some people are weary, some people are jaded. You know how it is when you've been on this thing for such a while, but when people begin to have doubts about whether it's going to happen or not.
Yeah.
But this is what we have put in place, and we're trusting God that nothing will happen that will in any way scuttle it. We're doing it. In fact, at the High Commission, this is the only game in town. A lot of other things have had to be put on the back burner so we can get this done. It's really been taxing and exacting, but I feel for our citizens that are stranded here. I mean, you hear all kinds of sad stories about people who are here with their children. They want to get home. They're separated from their families. People have run down on cash. It makes you wish, like, as High Commissioner, that you could do something to even make them comfortable. But they're in different parts of the country. You know, Canada is so large, and all we can do is to make sure that this takes place. So that's where we are right now. We're trusting God that all will go well. I think I'll heave a sigh of relief when I know that plane has arrived back in Canada on the evening of the 19th of July, and people have made it both ways. I think I'll probably just go and give myself a treat of some sort. But that's where we are, and it's really. I feel for our people. You know, I'm sure you know the way I am about people being comfortable. I like our citizens to be in very good shape. You know, people talk about how the Canadian High Commission has been quite effective, but I tell people that part of it is because the Nigerians in Canada are one of a kind. They're exceptional people. They're professional. They're decent. They're disciplined. And I've just been blessed. And I tell them that they are the real ambassadors. I may be the representative of the government, but the Nigerians in Canada have done a good job of enhancing the narrative on our country. And I think I'm privileged. I don't have to spend time getting people out of jail or bailing out people that are dealing drugs. Instead, I'm always being invited where people are being honored for having done well in various fields of endeavor, which is why I like to travel around a lot and meet our people. So that's where we are. We're trusting God that all will go well and the people will get to their destinations and be united with their families. And we can all heave a sigh of relief. That's where we are.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. That is really the backbone of this interview because I know that especially with social media now, people don't do their due diligence. They don't try to investigate. They just put out stories out there,
Yes.
and
Yes.
even within the community, there's been talks, and people are i- bad news sells more than good news.
I know. I
So
know.
it is important that we just zoom in on this matter and really say specifically what happened. And it's very glad. I'm very very glad that you were able to talk about your relationship with Air Peace and how they really gave a very good offer, and for people
Yeah.
to see that it was not because of anything that you did not do or that you did that arrangement did not work. You know.
Yeah, Airpeace, I'd like them to actually go through the process of becoming an accredited airline that can fly into Canada because Airpeace, I think they've done the country very well. They did a lot of flights, and you can see from the pricing structure that they're not out to make a killing from this thing. Airpeace lifted people from South Africa to Nigeria free of charge. You know, so it's just that the Canadian government has their own standards, which they have a procedure which Airpeace must go through before they'll be allowed to fly into Canadian airspace. So we'll encourage them to pursue it.
Do you think Air Peace is on that process?
Well, I think Airpeace may be also very preoccupied with supporting the government in the airlifting initiatives in other countries, but we intend to reach out to them and write them and encourage them to commence the process. Because
Okay.
Canada did say in its refusal that they're free to start the process. Only it may take longer than normal because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
It may take the whole process of coming to inspect all the things that have to be inspected in Nigeria may take a bit longer because the airspace is not open right now. But they encourage their piece to go through the process, and so we would encourage that also.
Okay. I have a question that a lot of people also have been asking, which is a little bit not concerned with airlifting. A lot of people who
Yeah.
are interested in immigrating to Canada, sometimes they get things mixed up. I want you to clearly explain to us the responsibility of the Nigerian High Commission in Canada to an immigrant, because some people actually think that coming to Canada they are applying to the Nigerian High Commission, and it is the Nigerian High Commission that is supposed to process the application, make sure that Canada takes them. So when they get frustrated, they turn their frustration to. Can you explain to us?
Asking me that question is a gift. It's like writing me a check, giving me a chance to explain. I tell people, what at the height of frustration, I tell people that the Nigerian High Commission only has leverage, only has muscle, only has the ability to get people to come to Nigeria. So we can issue passports, we can issue visas, we can issue emergency travel certificates for people to get into Nigeria. When it comes to getting into Canada, you're dealing with the Canadian government. Um, what do you call it? Immigration Refugee Citizens Canada.
Canada, yes.
There are people that you're dealing with, IRCC. And the Nigerian government does not have any kind of leverage or any kind of role to play in that. If you're especially if you are coming to settle down, and many people want to come and become Canadian citizens. I mean, by way of becoming residents, there really isn't any role that the Nigerian government or Nigerian High Commission can play in that process because we don't have any leverage or any kind of authority. Sometimes people reach out to us who want to even come and study. In some of those cases, when it looks like it seems very, very strange that the person was denied a visa, we may try and reach out to our colleagues in immigration and find out what can be done about it. But we don't have any kind of leverage. And let me tell you something further. What I've even come to find out all over the world is that immigration people in the various embassies do not report to the ambassador. They report to their home country.
Mm.
Yeah. So, for instance, now, if an immigration officer in Canada denies a Nigerian a visa, the ambassador in Nigeria, the Canadian ambassador in Nigeria, cannot do very much about it, except to try and reach out and appeal, because the immigration has its own reporting line, which is separate from the ambassador. But so I don't go too much into areas that may not be of interest. There really isn't very much that we can do to a person that wants to migrate to Canada. It is not within our purview, and anybody who says it is will not be telling you the truth. Well, I tell people that they should go to the website, they should study the procedures very carefully and make sure that they follow the steps. And I tell people that they should make sure that they divulge all the information required and that they don't hold anything back. I found out that when you try and apply to come to this country for any reason, if you divulge inaccurate information, you're hindering your chances of being successful. So follow the process. Having said that, when people come into the country, they're free to reach out to us for any kind of help that we're able to give. But they must understand that we are not able to influence the process. A person that comes to Canada and is settling down can reach out to us for other kinds of guidance and support. But we're not able to influence that process. And it's important that it's understood.
Okay. Then again, to when somebody is already here, okay, and because of their dual nationality, like a lot of us, when there is an issue, I know maybe this is not even the right question because I already know. I know the embassy has stepped in sometimes when there's an issue involving citizens here.
Yes.
There is an issue that I heard in the news about somebody who wants to leave the country and he's not being allowed to leave the country. It was a little bit confusing. I don't even know the authenticity of it, but I don't. Maybe I shouldn't go into that now. I want to stick on the issue that is at hand right now because that is the one that is creating a lot of confusion. Let me
Yes.
ask you now: the people who are stranded in Nigeria and the people who are here, how can they make purchases? There was a confusion as to that they have to make purchases only in dollars and stuff like that. Are they able to? Is there a Nigerian account they can make
Yes,
payments?
it's on the website. The Aero Logistics account, Aero Logistics and Travel has an account in Stanbic Bank, and that's where all the Naira proceeds are going to. People
Oh,
have been paying into that account.
okay, okay,
So Aero Logistics has an account in Stanbic Bank,
okay,
and that's where people are making payment. It's on our website.
okay,
So they've been collecting money. People are making payments, and they're being, they're being issued tickets. It's not a problem at all.
okay,
We've made it possible, which is Airpeace did that also. So Naira, dollar, so that people have flexibility.
okay. And the people in Canada, they make also a payment into that account in dollars.
Well, you see, we have an account in Canada, which there was, a Scotiabank account, which has also been provided, so they can make payments into that account. Because since they're in Canada, one would expect that they're going to be paying dollars. So
Okay,
they've been given a Scotiabank account, which they're able to pay money into in Canada. So we have it. We've made it as flexible as possible. Wherever you are, you can make the payment. And with
okay,
technology these days, you can even, you can pay into whichever account is convenient for you.
okay. Thank you very much.
I'm from a banking services background. So from here, I'm able to make payments in Nigeria. That's where technology has gone to these days.
Yes, 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 sir. Now, I'd just like to give you an opportunity to address your constituency here in Canada as we round up the program, and even as they go through this COVID-19. I look forward to uh, a time when all this is over and we can get back to what we used to do at your end.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'd like to say how pleased I am to have a chance to speak to you today, and how proud I am of the people that you have um, become, and how you represented our country in Canada. During this period of time, it's a time to be safe, a time to play by the rules, to obey guidelines, obey the principles of social distancing and crowd control. All those rules that have to do with personal hygiene are very important. I mean, it sounds very trite, and it sounds like one maybe sounding like he's talking to children, but those things matter and they count. So let's make sure that we obey these rules of hygiene, and we just take the time to be patient, because this time shall pass by the grace of God. I have a number of teenage children, some teenage children that are very restless during this period of time, but we have to try and manage them as best we can. It's a time to be disciplined. It's also a time to make use of the time and try and see what we can do. A time for doing more reading, more writing, online courses, online programs, a time to enhance ourselves and to reflect spiritually and mentally and look at where we are in life and where we want to go. A time to look at personal goals and objectives and aspirations and try and see, it would be sad not to make good use of this time. So I'd like to encourage us to stay positive, stay happy and stay focused and stay prayerful, trusting that this time shall pass and we shall laugh again by God's grace. So
Thank
thank
you.
you all very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It's been my pleasure. And then please continue to extend the kind of fellowship and fatherly relationship that you've kept with us. I appreciate you coming on the program. Please take care of yourself. And thank you very much, sir.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you very much and have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, guys. So that was the ambassador of Nigeria to Canada, and the person of Adeyinka Asekun. He was here as a special guest on our program to talk about the airlift that is being planned from on the 18th of July. That's the 18th of this month, in 3 days' time. We had to bring him to try to clear the air. A lot of you are aware that people are stranded in Nigeria. It is not funny, and so we are not making this a political program. Or and by the way, let me assure some of you that this man, he he does his job in a special way. When I was running for election in 2019, I was running election as the governorship candidate of the African Action Congress. I was running for Enugu State governorship position. I went to visit him in his office, and I went with the AAC flag and the AAC logo emblem. I went with my T-shirt that was written "Chidi for Governor." He received me, even though I belonged to a political party that was running against the political party of the incumbent government. He received me, he took pictures with me. So you need to understand that as an ambassador, he takes, or he tries to take, a neutral position, and he has done this so well. He has tried to attend to all the community events as much as he's able to attend, whether it be an event that is organized by well, Easterners here, Westerners here, Northerners sometimes, not much of that, but he has tried to attend as many programs as possible. He has a relationship with the. I used to be the president of the Nigerian Canadian Association, and we had a perfect relationship with him. Right now, the president of the Nigerian Canadian Association is a hardworking lady, Kemi Amusan, and she has a very good relationship with the ambassador also. So I am talking as somebody who has worked with this guy, somebody who knows him very well. And I hope that today the information that he has shared on this program will help you to help anybody that needs that information. These are very trying periods, and we just pray that God will help us all out of this period. Remember again that on Friday we're going to be having a very important guest also on our program. We bring you guys the people that matter, the people that are creating waves. This is somebody that has been on the scene way, way back then, in those days, before a lot of people even started showing face or being popular on the Nigerian Nollywood scene. I'm talking about Regina Asker. We are going to be having Regina Asker on our show on Friday. So I'm just going to show you guys the poster and tell you to mark your calendar and get ready to experience that interview. She's been on the news lately, and we're going to interview her. We're going to try to find out what she's been up to, and all those times when we didn't hear from her, what she's been going through. And then we also want to know about the interviews that she's been doing lately. So much to talk about, okay? And she has a lot of advice for people who are in the film industry right now, and the way they are carrying themselves and going about their business. So join us on Friday at 10 a.m. Toronto and New York time, and 3 p.m. Abuja time. And this is how we round up the program today from all of us in the Toronto studios of Worship Media, from Dr. Erica and everybody in our crew. I just want to say that we love you. Take care of yourselves, and bye bye.